Hello, everybody. We are Morissette, Iman, Johanna, and Tamina. Our capstone project is connecting the homeless to resources needed most. And this is our project trailer.
In Seattle, there are housing shortages and rising rents due in part to the tech boom. An estimated 5,000 people are living unsheltered.
I am Jenny. I am one of the co-presidents of this
Actually is happening.
People are struggling. People have been suffering for a really long time, and it's pouring out to where now you can't ignore it anymore. And now it's the city's problem, but it has been these people's problems and these people's lives in reality for very long.
It's not just about housing. It's about connecting people with healthcare, with employment, with job opportunities, with education and social support. And
Seattle seems to have more than enough services for the homeless community, which makes them rather close to solving the issue. What they need to do is find a way to gather their services to create one goal to help the city.
Connect is a dynamic, interactive platform that will provide those in unstable living environments in the greater Seattle area with immediate and accessible resources around them, including housing, food, clothing, and hygiene resources. We hope to provide immediate and accessible information on the most needed resources to the most overlooked resources available for those in unstable living environments. When navigating through our application, we hope to create a supportive experience that allows users to feel appreciated, listened to, and respected. With so many resources and services available in our city, we hope to create a hub that will allow users to get the support they need no matter where they are.
In Seattle, there are
Being born and raised in Seattle, I have personally experienced and witnessed the homeless issue in our city. Growing up in Section 8 housing, there were always homeless people sitting outside of my house and around my neighborhood. Every day walking home from school, I would see the way lack of resources and support affected the community and helped further push homelessness. Now, as an adult, I'm even more aware of how this complex issue is affecting our city and these marginalized communities.
There are different interconnected issues that lead to the constant increase of individuals being left without a secure place to live in. Many causes of homelessness include lack of affordable housing, low income, addiction and substance abuse, domestic violence, racial inequality, mental illness, and lack of available resources or services. The cost of living in Seattle is incredibly high, which results in lack of affordable housing. Women and children suffer the most when it comes to domestic violence, which leads to unstable living environments. Racial discrimination is not only targeting those receiving high income, but it also attacks minorities, making it much harder for them to adapt into regular society. There is a history of minority groups in the United States being systematically discriminated against and denied rights and opportunities to the white counterparts. Access to healthcare is difficult to obtain and almost impossible for homeless people to have, which is why it's so crucially important. When looking at the roots of what causes homelessness, it exposes the injustices that are still integrated in our system. In order to dismantle these oppressive systems, there needs to be acknowledgement in the flawed mindset that sets people homeless in the first place. We need to actively take action to help create solutions that prevent people from becoming homeless. What is Connect? Connect is a dynamic, interactive platform that will provide homeless individuals in the greater Seattle area with immediate and accessible resources around them, including food, clothing, housing, and hygiene. We are exploring these different platforms of a mobile application or digital totem, also known as a kiosk. Through our interactive application, users will have the opportunity to experience interacting with these 4 categories to access their specific needs. The resources provided will offer information regarding locations, hours of operation, and contact information.
The main questions we are tackling for this project are: what are the most immediate needs for homeless individuals? What factors are preventing homeless individuals from accessing these resources? And how can we design an accessible approach to provide all the resources available? These questions continue to ground us in what are the most important and the most critical problems to solve when designing our solutions. It is important we ask these questions since this is something that we are passionate about and want to pursue post-graduation.
Our stakeholders have been the most valuable part of our project. We are lucky to have them on as stakeholders we do, and they've been on this journey and process with us from the beginning. They were the ones to help us with research, usability testing, connecting us with our target audience, and helping us narrow down our 4 categories. Our project is basically a small, condensed digital version of the work they do, and we hope that our project will be able to meet their needs as well. We hope to continue this project with them in the future.
To begin addressing our design, we created personas to better understand the diversity of our users and their various needs. Our user personas help us put together user outcomes that present actual realistic situations, which has given us the opportunity to become more solid with our game plan when working through our thought process and deciding what is our top consideration and priorities when navigating our design journey. As designers, we need to consider accessibility when creating our interface so everyone can use the interface however they engage with our design. That includes color, fonts, audio, to the different mediums that hold the information. Choosing a language that one engages with most comfortably helps provide a clear message from our end to the user. We knew adding a language select feature was necessary to include. Our interface or this design needs to be intuitive. So when our users navigate through the interface, they won't be hesitant, since using a totem as a medium is a new system that can be perceived as difficult and unfamiliar technology to engage with.
Due to COVID, we were not able to conduct usability tests with homeless individuals, but we did conduct usability tests with our stakeholders who work closely with our users. We were able to collect a lot of data, and our participants were really excited about the prototype. Here are the top 3 insights from our test. The first insight is setting the right expectation and not giving them false hope. For example, most of the participants thought the housing category was for immediate housing, but it was actually for long-term housing. So we have to revisit the words and the titles we used in our app. Our second insight is helping our users in their next steps. For example, they are now in a shelter. How can we help them connect with the case manager and other needs, such as getting an ID? Our third insight is expanding our target audience. It turns out that social workers and case managers can also use our product. They can easily walk up to the digital totem with a homeless individual and walk them through resources that are available for them. As we continue to evolve our product, we can think about use cases from that perspective. Those are our 3 main insights. So sometimes we are too close to the design and the product. Usability tests allow us to take a step back and gain invaluable insights.
As shown in the video trailer, our current prototype comes in a totem version as well as a mobile version. Our dynamic interactive design has potential to be presented on either platform. What's next? Our next step is to figure out what platform to use to display our information. One is a mobile application and the other is a digital touchscreen totem. From there, we would need to figure out grants and funding to best support our project, as well as figure out which route we want to take. We could either go nonprofit or take our project to the county. Since this is something we want to pursue post-graduation, we have so much more we need to do, but these are just some of our basic next steps. Thank you, and we are ready for questions.
Awesome. Okay, it moved again.
Sorry.
Let's see. So Rachel asked, previous cohorts have worked with this social justice issue. Did you research previous iterations of this idea? How do you define yourself as different?
We have been introduced to previous ideas done by previous classes from our professors. We did build off a little bit on their past ideas regarding up-to-date information, because we remember that was a struggle for them that was explained to us. What we feel is different is sort of the accessibility through the different mediums, especially with the totem, because even with phones, which admittedly a lot of homeless individuals do have phones and they do have access to computers in like libraries, for example, but if you have a phone, you might have to pay for data, which is the money they might not have. And if you don't have data, you might need to find Wi-Fi, which is even more difficult to find if you're living in these encampments and you don't have constant access to all this Wi-Fi. So our mediums, we feel, is a bit different from previous ones.
Great. So our next question is, what are the steps you took to find relevant stakeholders and reach out to them for usability testing?
Well, we had some suggestions from our professors, as well as just research that we did on our own. We reached out to a lot of homeless organizations in Seattle, as well as from there, they were also able to connect us to other resources. It took a long time. I think every quarter we added like 1 or 2 more stakeholders, and we still are being introduced to new people since this is something that we want to do post graduation. And then as for usability testing, we just reached out to the ones that have been on this journey with us beforehand. Yeah.
Awesome. Arnie asked, was the totem just the software experience, or did you also explore or sketch anything around physical housing for a kiosk in the field?
So the totem and the kiosks are the same thing. They're just different names. We haven't explored any software yet because we still are figuring out which platform to use, because obviously like digital signage and a mobile application softwares are going to be different. And so the plan for if we do have a physical kiosk would be a horizontal version, but we also explored a vertical version because that's probably what people are more used to interacting with. But digital totems is still a new type of technology, so we still aren't 100% sure that's the route we for sure want to go. So yeah.
And did you explore capturing a kind of style or visual aesthetic that would connect with different homeless personas?
Yes, so when working on this project, we had to keep in mind a lot of things like colors, trigger words, even countries, flags, things like that. We want to be as inclusive as possible, as well as not being too overwhelming, because for most of our target audience, they're going to interact with our platform to find the most nearest possible resource at that moment. So we wanted to make it quick and fast and easy, and so we decided to go with blue, which is the most culturally safe color, as well as fonts. We're still kind of working that out. It's a lot of different pieces and small little design things that you wouldn't think about before, that we have to like really research more depending on kind of our target audience is what I'm trying to say. Sorry. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's great. I love that that you have thought about that. And for our last question, how would you conduct user research ethically?
So before, we always planned on meeting with homeless individuals. Obviously, we weren't going to just walk up to random homeless shelters or people that are sitting outside and stuff like that. We were going to connect with our stakeholders. Majority of them work with homeless individuals, and so for one small portion of the time that we had early January, we had a survey go out, and it was through our stakeholders that they were able to connect us with people that they worked with one-on-one.
Awesome. Thank you so much.